Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt. Welcome yet again to the Sin Bin, and today we're going to be talking about the Montreal Canadiens. As a matter of fact, it's going to be something a little bit different here. I want it to be more of an intimate discussion. I want it to be frank with you guys. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do one take of these and that's it, because I wanted to talk about Jonathan Drouin and his effect on the Canadiens and the possibility of him bouncing back. Now, before I get into all of that, I just want you guys to know my situation as a Canadiens fan. So, I'm a diehard Canadiens fan. If you go in my room currently, there's Montreal Canadiens lamps, Montreal Canadiens drapes, Boston Bruin toilet paper, all of that fun stuff. And my best time of the day is when I know there's going to be a hockey game. I get to sit down, relax, unbutton my pants, and enjoy a good hockey game. And this past season, I gotta say, they haven't made the playoffs, but I still got a lot of that enjoyment. I mean, let's not kill ourselves. There's a lot of players out there on the team that they busted their ass off, and even though there was long stretches, long periods where the Canadiens weren't playing well, they were still playing as if they had a chance. Now, there's one player that I feel didn't do that. There's one player that I feel that there's some nights he took the night off and he was very inconsistent. Yes, you guys have all guessed it. That is Jonathan Drouin. Jonathan Drouin was my one negative from an overall pretty decent year from the Canadiens. Again, they didn't make the playoffs, but I could see the team building forward with their core players, the Gallaghers, the Domies, those types of guys. I see the prospects. I see them improving in the future and leading the team to the glory land. Kotkaniemi, I consider him a prospect still. I don't know if the technicality is right, but Kotkaniemi, Paling, Suzuki, those types of guys. But there's one guy that I look at him and I can't help but cringe. Jonathan Drouin. I look at him play. Guys, I get depressed. I told you, watching hockey is the time of day where I'm supposed to be the most happy. And I watched Jonathan Drouin play. I get acid reflux. And there's a reason why I get acid reflux. But before I tell you, we really must explore the history of Jonathan Drouin and as to why he had a lackluster year. Because let's face it, he really did have a lackluster year. Some people might say, listen, Matt, he got 53 points. He tied his career high. I get all of that. I get it. I really do. But the reason why I say he has a lackluster year is because when the Canadiens were really trying to make that push for the playoffs, when they really needed him the most, he was nowhere to be seen. He really wasn't. And that's what pisses me off the most, because the beginning of the year was decent. I'm going to attribute that to playing with Domi. But later in the year when they really needed him, again, nowhere to be found. So that's why I say he has a lackluster year. If you guys out there, you're fans of Jonathan Drouin, if you say he had a good year, you're kidding yourselves, because he did not have a good year. You expect more from Jonathan Drouin. The kid is way too talented. You don't get drafted third overall if you don't have talent. If you look at some of his plays in Halifax, it's like a man against boys. Just look at the Canadiens. They surveyed them last season. They asked the locker room questions such as, who do you think has the best shot? Who do you think has the best speed? Who do you think has the best hands? Who do you think has the most skill? Every player in this survey said Jonathan Drouin. And I would agree. When it comes to skill level, Jonathan Drouin is the best player on the Canadiens. Better than Domi, better than Kotkaniemi. Anyone, when it comes to skill, individual skill, talent, Jonathan Drouin is up there. But the reason I don't talk about him is because of his inconsistency. And I'm going to tell you why he's so inconsistent. But first, we need to look at the trade that brought him to Montreal. So I don't know your memory, guys, if you remember really much, but this trade, when it happens, of course I'm talking about the Jonathan Drouin, Michael Sergachev trade, or Mikhail Sergachev, however which way you want to pronounce it. When it first happened, not many people were complaining. In fact, in my zone, in my circle at least, not many people were complaining. They were pretty pleased with it. They said, okay, well, Michael Sergachev's a 9th overall. Jonathan Drouin's a 3rd overall. Sure, he's a little bit older, but it's an improvement. And I wouldn't say I was like that, but I was quite happy with the trade at the time. I really was. But I was wrong. And I'll admit it now, I was wrong, because I look back on that trade and I do not like it. And even if Jonathan Drouin was good, even if he was playing great right now, if he was the Canadiens' best player, I still wouldn't like it, because I didn't foresee that huge gap, that huge hole that was going to be on the left defensive side. And Michael Sergachev would have been perfect to play with Shea Weber. So looking back at that trade, and I've defended Bergevin thick and thin, thick and through. I've said about Bergevin that, okay, the Weber trade, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but now looking how Subban has bounced everywhere, I give him the credit. Galchenyuk trade, I wasn't a fan of it at first. I thought the team was starved for goals and they traded away a goal scorer. I look back at how Galchenyuk got bounced. I give Bergevin the credit. I gave him credit for offer sheeting Sebastian Aho, even if it didn't follow through. But I won't give him credit for this one. And that's normal. We all make mistakes. GMs make mistakes. But I will not give him credit for this trade, because he traded away a positional need for someone. And I don't know if this is true or not. So I'm not going to say it as if it's factual. But let's address the major French elephant in the room, and that is Jonathan Drouin is a French boy. He's from the province of Quebec. And we all know these Canadians, how much they want a French kid to play on the French team. If you ask my opinion of that, it's bullshit. And I'll make another video of it why, but now's not the time. I hope that the trade had nothing to do because Jonathan Drouin is French. I hope Bergevin, at the very least, saw that he was talented, he was on the market, and he traded away for him. I hope it wasn't just because he was French. And I hate to say it, I have a feeling that him being French had a part into it. Because Bergevin even said it afterward. Un gars de chez nous comme ça, je pouvais pas m'en passer. Which means a guy like that from Quebec, I couldn't pass on him. So I really hope that the scouting of the Montreal Canadiens really looked at this kid, his attitude, his work ethic. They really looked at it before making a trade. And I just said a really key word, or key words as a matter of fact, and that is work ethic. The reason why he's not performing the way us fans want to is because of his work ethic. You can have all of the talent in the league. You can have the talent of Gretzky. If you don't have the talent, you will not succeed in this league. I've been watching too much hockey for too much time, and I can definitely tell you that as a fact. Talent will bring you to the bottom. Hard work and work ethic will bring you up to the ceiling. And when it comes to Jonathan Drouin, there's some shifts where he's not moving his feet. There's some plays where he doesn't go in the dirty areas. He lets poor old little Gallagher go. And one thing I could say also throughout my years of watching hockey, players that are like that, they don't wake up one night with an epiphany and realize, you know what, I need to start working hard. No. I could tell you, players that are like this, bad apples as I call them, they usually remain this way. They don't change. Jonathan Drouin will always be Jonathan Drouin. If you want him to be Gallagher and moving and, using the body and going in the dirty areas, yada, 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 that'll never happen. He's very skilled. He has the shot. He has the everything. He's a perimeter player, and he'll be that to stay. Let me jump to the chase. I do not think Jonathan Drouin will be able to bounce back. Because these types of players, these lazy players, will always be lazy. I mean, it was so bad. I remember instances in this past season, or maybe it was the one before, but I remember instances where Drouin was going off on a change, and he wasn't even hustling to the bench. So the guy that was supposed to jump on the ice in place of Drouin, you're putting him in hot water just because you're too lazy to even skate quickly to the bench. But I went on a little bit of a rant here. I want to say, I don't like to see players not succeed. I want to see the players succeed. And for that, I am Jonathan Drouin's biggest cheerleader. This upcoming season, no one will cheer harder when Jonathan Drouin scores a goal than this guy. I mean it. I'll cheer harder than even him. He won't cheer as hard as me. Because I want him to succeed. I am sick of the pain and suffering of watching Jonathan Drouin not moving his legs, not going to the dirty areas. It really is pain and suffering. And I know pain and suffering. I've seen Suicide Squad in the cinemas. Very bad movie. But I'm sick of the suffering. I want to see a team gel together. I want to see a team work together. You saw the Golden Knights when they made it to the Cup final. It's a team that gelled together, that rallied together. It was all for one and all for one. Jonathan Drouin is like that red-headed stepchild. He's like just stands out in the team. But I am his biggest cheerleader. And I'm going to hope, at the very least, I'm going to hope that he looks at himself in the mirror. He looks at himself in the mirror and says, listen, Joe, I can't go on like this. I am too skilled. I've made it thus far in my career. I cannot continue. And I hope he trains hard. I hope he takes this really seriously because it is something that's serious. You're a French-Canadian boy playing on a French-Canadian team. This is many people's dream. You know? You gotta go from looking like this to looking like this. You gotta cut that hair, cut that beard, because at least if you're not interested, make it look like you are interested. So to answer the question, I don't think Jonathan Drouin will bounce back because once a player like this, always a player like this. But that being said, I'll be his biggest cheerleader. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that Jonathan Drouin can bounce back after this year? Do you think that he's doomed? What do you guys think? As per usual, please like, subscribe to my channel. If you direct your attention to the bottom of the screen, there's a bar written, let's reach 500 subs. That's my goal for the new year, and I really need your guys' help to allow me to do that. So please subscribe, and as per usual, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.